Thanks, Miroslav, and good morning, everyone. I just wanted to give a few examples as to the coding tool. Miroslav, what you showed just in the browser can also be used, we can get to these results automatically by using the ICD-11 Smart Coding tool. So, for example, as you were showing the number of how much we can add the extension codes, the agents, and manually from the browser. If we have the coding tool of ICD-11, which is a smart engine that you can feed information to, and then it can generate the codes that are needed. So as you can see here in this example, if you have fracture of right humerus shaft, so we have the fracture, we have the laterality, right? And then we have also the anatomy. And as you can see here, it automatically gave the extension codes to the stem code, which is the fracture. And this is one example of stem code combination. What we call by stem code is the code from the main chapters of ICD, and then the extension code that you showed already in the browser. And then the extension codes also come from the extension code chapter of the ICD-11. Another example as to the automatic code combination that are generated. For in this case, for example, we have the diabetes, unstable type 1 diabetes with diabetic retinopathy. So as you can see here, we have two conditions. So there are that will come from two main chapters of ICD. And the coding tool automatically generated this combination, which is the code for the diabetic retinopathy and the diabetes. And this is what we call a combination, a cluster of two stem codes coming from the main chapters of ICD-11. Then in this example, also the coding tool is smart enough to adjust for abbreviations, to adjust for typing mistakes. And even if you start typing hypertension, for example, and then you look at the left hand side of the screen when you search in the coding tool, you have like a drop down, like not a drop down, it's a list of all the words that are like here, hypertension, hypertensive, that can be related to the word you're typing. So it completes actually the words that you're typing and understands automatically and gives you in the options the different available codes with hypertension or hypertensive word in it. And this is just because I haven't written all the full word, but it also gives the best match in blue that I will show in other slides later on. Now, that these are few options that you can make use. I invite you, if you haven't used the coding tool in before, you have to go and then look up. It's like a smart search engine, like we look up on Google or Bing or any other search engine online. It adjusts for synonyms like cancer of stomach, for example. It would give us malignant neoplasm of stomach because it's smart enough to understand that this is a synonym that is used on records, on death certificates, etc. And not only this, it's also enough. We have linkages in the back end, and you showed on the browser as well the different chapters where you have the same condition in the maternal chapter or in the perinatal chapter, and you want maybe the users you want to allude to the users that there are other codes available for this condition, but specific to the maternal chapter or specific to the perinatal chapter. Like in this case, the when we looked up stroke, left anterior cerebral artery, there are many examples here or many conditions in this example. The coding tool would give the combination of stem and extension code, but it would also give us hints as to there are related categories for this in the maternal chapter. And there are related categories in the perinatal chapter with also the combination of codes that are listed in the search box. There are also coding notes that can give hints to the users as to if you want additional information, you can use this. In these coding notes, sometimes we tell that this is not a code that should be used for primary tabulation. It depends on what you search. You will get the related coding note in this section. And this is also a screenshot of the coding tool. So when you search, you will get the results, but also you can open up this box like you did with the browser, and then you will get these different section or hints. But they can also be found on the right end of the coding tool. I will try to show in the next slides. For example, in this situation, I also didn't type the full asphyxia word, but it gave me, as I mentioned, the blue perfect match to the birth asphyxia with the related code. And as you can see here, it is a coding note to this condition. In another example, or multiple other examples. As you can see here, we always will get the blue perfect match at the top, on the top of the coding tool, and then we would have other examples listed that you might choose from. In this case here, I opened up the box so that you can see all the matching terms under this pre-eclampsia unspecified code. So this is also can help in getting the search when you don't have, when you have synonyms or when you have locally used terms. So you can get to the code that you want, even if you use other synonymous terms or local languages that you can find on records or death certificate. As I mentioned also, in this case, although it gave the hypovolemic shock code that we want, which is a perfect match, but in case of a maternal condition, this prompts the user that you have to go to the J chapter and then get the combination that you are looking for. There is also, in this situation, in this instance, same cardiomyopathy, but I wanted to show you in this slide that the coding tool, as I mentioned, gives the J and the K code on the right on top, but there is also a very important function, which is the red plus. What the red plus means, this is a mandatory post coordination. In this situation, we want to know what caused the cardiomyopathy for public health, preventions, for epidemiological purposes. So it's important, the coding tool would prompt you that when you have this red, you have to add the causing condition. And in this instance, I opened the box of the coding tool, and these are, as you can see, it's a pop-up of the coding tool. And then you will get the conditions where you can just select the code that you want. You will get the cluster automatically, and then you click on the select. So you will have the what you were looking for, the cardiomyopathy, but also clustered or in combination with the causing condition. Also, there are other options. You can add the manifestations, as much extension codes as you need, extension codes in terms of anatomy, laterality, and the ones that we mentioned earlier, depending on how much details you have on your records, and it depends also on how much information you want to capture. I'm not gonna go at the look explain the browser because Miroslav has showed all the details in his previous presentation. But this is also to show that not only you can look up in the coding tool, but you can also search in the browser, and then you will get the codes that you are looking for. And with that, I will stop my presentation and send it over to Chan.